Welcome to the Story Tinker Podcast, a place for in-depth analysis of webtoon stories. Co-hosted by sharp, witty, and dare I say, thirsty fans, we dive deep into every episode, analyzing character struggles, relationship development, and of course, theories. You can follow the Story Tinker on YouTube, podcast platforms, and social media. For bonus content, sneak peeks, and more, you can support the Story Tinker on Patreon. We are really appreciative of your likes, subscribes, and follows on all platforms. Thank you for listening to the Story Tinker, and let's get started.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 53 of the Purple Hyacinth on the Story Tinker. And we are back from hiatus, I guess, in a sense. And not that hiatus, but the Story Tinker hiatus. And we are recording with Fwoot and Emma.
Hello. It's been so long. I'm very excited.
The last podcast I was on was like the season finale for season 2. And that was in...
Yeah, I think same.
We fast passed it. So it was like July, I think. And
I was in Holland. Yes, I remember that. Okay.
And it's October now. So it's like 3 months. Oh my God.
It's been a while. Well, so here we are, we're jumping in, and what is basically this takes place right at the beginning of season 2 when Kieran and Lauren are forced to navigate they're forced to work very closely together, as we know. And, Kieran's playing as a mole, and they are walking off together. That's how this episode starts. And Will is looking out at them suspiciously. And Kim, at this point, we have someone locking the door, closing the lights, very shady. And turns out it's Kim being dramatic. And she has shoved Will into a room, apparently. And he asks, "What do you want to talk about, Kim?" And she tells him, "We need to talk about Lune." Very seriously. He's like, "Okay. I've been thinking about the mission Herman gave us this morning. I really don't see how spying on our coworkers will help us find Lune." So, I mean, this is something that I like that she's uncomfortable with it. I think it's a tough ask for Herman to do that, it feels gross.
I was never very happy when Herman said to do this, to be honest.
Really? When Herman told them to find Lune?
I mean, I was, but also was like, I was worried. I mean, I have probably, a right to worry about how this is eventually going to affect their friendship, because I was worried at the time. I was worried about it. I'm glad that he like in the end gave them this, because it's better for Ed Hollis finding out who these people are, but also at the time I was worried that it's gonna affect the friendship in the long run. Finding out that your best friend is hiding something this big from you is not something I would have been happy about.
Right. I mean, that part is really on Lauren, not necessarily Herman, but spying in your coworkers just doesn't feel good. I get it.
I was excited because like Kim and Will had kind of been on the bench for most of season 1. So I really thought that Soleil was going to put them more in the spotlight, and we would really get to see them like bond and really grow through like their assignment, and also add to the stakes with Lune, especially since we knew Lune was disbanded. So it's like, oh yeah, this is a great time to bring it in when there's no Lune, but they're still looking for people and everyone's still like super sus. But we'll see this. I was just excited to see how this would turn out, because I thought it would play a really big role in this season.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm still looking forward to these experiences in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it gave us this whole episode, so clearly it does bring them together. So Kim says, "It's been over a month since they dropped their first file. If there were any incriminating office gossip that one of them was part of Lune, we would already know by now." And Will, who is always calm, just says, "All we can do is observe and be attentive to details." Kim, "Yeah, but considering how thorough they've been with everything else, I doubt we'll have much to eavesdrop on, especially at a precinct where they must be extra careful. We're not dealing with amateurs." And yeah, Kim being smart. So what do you propose? I propose marriage, first of all. Well, that'll be later. The Golden Clover. The Golden Clover is the only known public place where Lune has been spotted. I want to verify something there. And Will says, Kim, we aren't detectives. And he's looking like highly frustrated at this point. Like, I feel like, I don't know if it's just Will's natural hesitancy and like he's not very he's risk averse. He doesn't like taking risks. But I think also part of it is a little bit like he maybe treats anything like whatever Kim says, I kind of assumes it's going to be silly, I think. And before like giving it credence. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a very similar expression for most of this discussion, you know, with his like eyes kind of wide out and they're very rectangular.
Mm-hmm.
And because like, I mean, Kim's acting very serious in a way that's almost comical in a bit because like there's shading done with the line art with lines to make her look more serious, right? And more like dark and mysterious. And so it's something we haven't really seen with Kim before. And then, you know, in a couple panels down, you suddenly understand why.
I mean, I personally love Detective Kim. In my opinion, Kim is one of the like smartest. I mean, like, you know, they're all smart in their own ways, but Kim has all of the brain cells with the main four. Like she owns them all. If Kim was part of Lune, there wouldn't be Lune anymore because they wouldn't need it.
Yeah, but that's not. So Kim's response to "we aren't detectives" is, "You're right, we aren't." And then she just suddenly, mysteriously produces a hat and a smoking pipe in the manner of Sherlock Holmes. And she's like, "Oh, where's Soleil?" Which means sun, which is obviously the counterpart of Lune, which means moon. Will.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, okay, so like this episode came out like a little bit over a year ago, I think, which is insane to think about, but it did.
It is. Now that you say that, it is really insane to think about.
I didn't fast test at the time. And so like we could still see like chapter titles, right? So it's like, oh, hey, look, saying, I don't know how to say the first word, Sagace Soleil.
Yes.
Like, I wonder what that's going to be about, because I was literally like, it literally just did not go through my mind at the time that like, you know, we would get like in a, I don't know, like how would you, not rival, but like another sort of like counterpart to Lune.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when they said where's Soleil, I was like, oh my God, how did I not see that coming? And yeah, as expected, this moment right there where Kim says where's Soleil sparked the eclipse theory, where Kim, Will, Lauren, and Kieran will all team up at one point and become eclipse, because that's what you get when you combine a moon and a sun.
Nice.
At this point, if it does happen, I will be very sad if it's not called eclipse.
I think it's such a popular fan theory that F would include it.
Yeah,
And
I'm hoping so. Or at
depending
least
who
like
writes it.
something that has to do with eclipse, like either eclipse and, you know, French or something. Even then I would be good with that too. I hope that they keep this in.
I will say though, I was kind of like wondering whether eclipse would actually happen, because even though Soleil is like really well established in this episode, they don't really do much after like episode 63, because we see them like investigating in this episode, right? And we see them having talks with each other, like Kim and Will. They discuss like, you know, what would you do if I was Lune? And Kim's really kind of poking at the waters with Will. But then they kind of split up really, and they don't really focus on, you know, their task of like finding out who Lune is. Kim visits Lauren in 66, of course, and she's very suspicious of her there. But like, you know, it's not with Will, so whether it could be counted as Soleil is really, you know, up for debate. And then in the circus arc, they're not looking for Lune, really. They're trying to, or Kim's trying to help out Will after he finds a brother. And then post circus arc, there's like 83. My mind just completely blanked. They're not looking for Lune there either. So Soleil takes quite a while to come back to relevancy, and they only do until, and you know, when they do, it's episode 92, and even then
I'll probably get more in the future because, like, I don't know, I love their dynamic so much, and I like they work together so well, and I just love to see more serious Kim.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish that like Soleil had more screen time, because you know, going from 63 to 92 is a lot. Like that's almost 30 episodes if I'm doing my math right. So yeah, because this episode really had me thinking and hoping that like Soleil was going to be a really big thing of the season, because it's like, you know, the Lune of the season almost. And even though Kim and Will aren't like main characters, they are still main characters. Like we do refer to them as the 04. So,
yeah.
Original 4, I think that's what it stands for. So, you know, this episode's great, but there is a general lack of Soleil in this season, which kind of sucks.
Well, I'm curious. I don't want to spoil what happens, but like I think we probably will see more of them in season 3. So yeah. So anyway, Will, who has no sense of humor whatsoever, when Kim does her dramatic detective pose, he twitches and says, "Okay, I'm out." And she grabs him, was like, "Hold up, come with me, or else." And she boops him on the nose with a pipe. "I will blank, 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 and blank, blank, blank." So has anyone sat here and decoded that?
We've never found out what she said here, and I really like. I want this to be brought up again in the future so we can see what she said.
Do you think the asterisks correspond to letters? Like, is it exactly like?
There actually isn't. There isn't anything that she actually said. I think so. For F just wrote something random with the asterisks. I can't remember who said it, Soph or F. Like, I can't remember if someone asked like Soph and she answered, and she said that there was nothing on her stories, or whether someone asked like F on Discord or something. But one of them said that it really didn't mean anything. So unfortunately, there's nothing more to it.
Fine, we won't spend 10 years in decoding this. We'll move on. And she said, "Welcome to Soleil, partner," because clearly whatever she did not say was effective, and Will is threatened. So now they are outside and they're walking around, and Will puts his hand over his eye. She's like, "You didn't know where we're going. I'd rather be on a romantic picnic with Herman than get lost with you again." She's like, "Of course I do." She puts her sunglasses up. Like, it's nighttime. Like, she's wearing sunglasses at night. She's so cute.
I just love Kim so much. She's such like, I feel like people underestimate her all the time. She is like a really smart character, and you'll find out like later on in the webtoon as well. But like she's super smart and like, I mean, and funny, and people underestimate her a lot, thinking that she's just like, you know, like comedic relief. But people underestimate her. She's one of my favorite characters in like a lot of media that I've consumed.
Yeah, she's great. And I love the drama. I think it's fantastic. And she's like, "Of course I do. We patrol the city every day. The Golden Clover is in our precinct." And Will just rolls his eyes. "That's never stopped you before." And we have scenario 1, 2, 3. Scenario 1, they're in the middle of dead end alley. "Oh no, where are we?" Scenario 2, "Kim, why did you bring me here? I don't even know where we are." Scenario 3, Will's behind Kim. "Oh no, where's the lieutenant? He'll get lost all by himself." Clearly she's the one who's lost. So Kim does not appear to have a great sense of direction. And she like lies and slander.
That's literally one of my favorite transitions in PH. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. It's very funny. Very, very funny. Clever, well done, funny. You're just envious of my natural sense of direction. Yeah, hilarious. Just the dialogue is so funny. And she, at this point, they're in front of my door, and she goes dramatically, "The Golden Clover is on the right." And Will looks, and he's like, "Ladell, the Golden Clover is right in front of us, and also you're pointing to the left." Which, yeah, sorry, I should have pointed that way. This is so funny. Like, see, I knew I could find it. And Will's just like, so he says, "Should have let her get lost in the city alone." And Kim's like, "And also, I can plan a romantic picnic between you and Herman anytime."
Well, the birth of a new ship that no one really wanted.
I haven't seen any cursed images though. I've seen Kieran images. I haven't seen Willman.
There's been a ship.
Well, okay, to be fair, this
between
was like
Herman and everyone.
oh, Mindy, you're making me Mindy, I'm gonna go find this one Will X Herman art that's buried in the back of my mind. I don't even know if I can find it. Yeah.
There's been a ship with Herman and literally every single Purple Hyacinth character to ever exist.
Well, Herman and the leader? Yeah.
I feel like I might have seen someone mentioning that somewhere.
I mean, that would be a twist.
This fandom is wild. You would be surprised. You would be surprised at
you're right.
People can come up with.
Anything can happen. So Will is like, "Please don't." Well, they enter. Kim is like, "Wow, clearly it's very fancy." And Dorman says, "Good evening. Welcome to the Golden Clover. May I help you?" She's like, "Hi, I am Sergeant Liddell, and I'm Lieutenant Hawks." So he he kind of like overrides her because he's, I think, nervous about her sense of drama. So he just like pushes her out of the way, shows them the badge. "And we're here on behalf of APD 11th Precinct. We would like to have a word with the manager." Which is coming from Kim, who has just knocked Will away, hand away, because she's upset that he is barging and interfering into her investigation. And she's like, "Is she available right now?" And the doorman is sweating and a little nervous at these weirdos and says, "I'll go get her right away. Please follow me." So they walk down the hallway, and Will's like, "What are you up to, Kim?" "Oh, I just want to have a little chat. I'm sure the manager would love to have us." And she has this really cute Will Kim face. That's the face that's one of the emojis, right?
I think so. I think it also shows up in another episode, but I can't remember which one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it looks familiar. It's kind of like her scrambled eggs eyes or sunny side up eyes. So they're at the manager's office. Her name is Miss Karen Smith. And of course, the manager is a Karen, which is hilarious.
I just love that SoFNF just came with like the most stereotypical name they possibly could. Like just like the most like boring, like normal name.
I think you're missing something here. Okay, so I know Karen Smith is like, you know, it can be like a bit of a generic name, but I think this is supposed to stem from, you know, the Karen memes, right?
Well, yeah.
I'd like to see our manager, please. Like, you know,
I know it stems
of
from
like,
that, but also like the last name. I love that they just picked like.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, because like Karen's like the meme is like mainly like middle-aged white women, right? Trying to see the managers and stuff. So I guess
and
like
she does
Smith
look exactly like.
She looks like you could imagine her, like PH, like blonde hair, blue eyes.
Nice outfit.
Yeah.
Fancy.
So there's the irony to it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I agree. I think it was intentional.
She's become the very thing she swore to destroy.
Right. A Karen, well, I guess I was trying to make a funny line, but like, I don't really have a funny line. Never mind. Anyway, so she's like, "Good evening. I'm Kieran Smith, the older establishment. To what do I owe this particular pleasure?" Lieutenant Hawks, 11th Precinct, Sergeant Liddell, 11th Precinct, please forgive us for our impromptu visit. We're here on behalf of the investigation unit. We just want to quickly follow up on Mr. Angelo's arrest 3 weeks ago. Like, yes, the Lune incident. She looks pretty grumpy. Your detectives already combed the Clover for evidence. Yes, you told Detective Marks that many customers left their personal effects behind that night, right? And Will's kind of gives her a look because he doesn't seem to be knowing where she's going with this and didn't seem to know that she even knew anything about it. Like Kim has obviously done some research and thinking about this before, but she didn't share that with Will. And I think Will is surprised to see this part of her, which, like we were saying, Emma, like people underestimate her, including Will. And the owner's like, you did raid the place. Everyone left in a panic. And I think that's why she's grumpy. It seemed like that whole night was a big disturbance, right? She runs the joint, right? She wants customers to be there and have a good time and feel safe. And like the police raids them. So I'm sure like it was tough for her business. So I'm thinking that's why she's grumpy.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, if I was her, if someone like, I was like, you know, if I had a business and someone just came in and like made a mess of everything, I would also be very upset at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know it's like, okay, maybe not for businesses, but like I know for like houses and stuff, you know, a lot of times police need like a warrant, right? To enter a house.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what it was like on this, you know, this time period, but yeah.
Well, in this fictional world, really, but
it is, yeah, it is a fictional world, but like PH does seem to be pretty modern. And you know, I don't know about like other countries, but at least, you know, where we live, laws like this have been around for like 300 years, which fits onto like the eras that PH is based off of.
Right. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. But whether or not they had a warrant, they did raid the place. And she says, we found wallets, keys, glasses. Most of it was retrieved by the owners in the following weeks, but business has been terrible since. I swear you people just, okay, so now she tells us why she's upset. And Will says, some items still haven't been reclaimed. Yes, I can show you. She brings out some stuff. Here's all that's left from that night. And there's a coat, there's a feather boa, there's a key, and there's, looks like the bracelets. And Kim thinks to herself, a coat? Who doesn't come back for their coat in cold weather? You'd be surprised. Must have belonged to some couple who was too rich to care. Don't bother searching the pockets. They're all empty. And Kim looks at it. She's like, well, all right. Nothing here seems to fit the criminal profile. Thank you for your cooperation. And she shoves Will out. Karen's like, don't come back. So clearly she saw something and thinking something we don't know yet. So now they're outside or they're walking out, and Will asked her, Kim, are you okay? I know this wasn't exactly, and she says, today I realized I had overlooked crucial details. My own certitude had led me to believe things which were wrong. She's being very dramatic. And Will's like, why are you talking to yourself? Shut up, I'm channeling Lauren. And he's like, you're what now? And then we have the classic, the famous pose. Lauren, goddess of deduction. Please lend me some of your detective powers.
Hasn't she done this before as well?
I think she does it later.
I think that she's done this, like, she's, by season 2, I think she's done it multiple times. But this is just, Kim is wonderful. I love her.
I love dramatic people. She's great. And Will, who, again, what we must mention, has no sense of humor, says, why is she imitating a raccoon again? And Kim's like, I'm sure we're onto something. She grabs him. I just have to put the pieces together. And Will's like, well, it's peculiar that they never came back for the fancy coats, but it's not a crime. And Kim says, what if there's a woman on Lune's team? Will, isn't that a used jump? Remember what that weird lady said? And we flash back to Lady A. Or this Lune they talk about is 2 people, right? It sounded like 2 people. One of them seemed much lighter than the other. Maybe it was even a woman. Lady A. You and your big mouth. Suspicious Lady A.
I don't, like, I know that Lady A and the butler are there for, like, comedic relief. Because, you know, the butler died in the canvas version and everything. But they've been everywhere.
Yeah,
and, like,
so
wasn't that information not out to the public?
It was not. They literally just talked about it there. So that is the super sussiest thing on planet Earth. So about the introduction, maybe like they changed the plot, A. or maybe the butler is disposable, but Lady A was always built in as like a device, meaningful.
Oh, I have something to say, but I just chose it to be spoilers. So for
Okay.
a future episode, but yeah, I can tell you all later. But like, yeah, we've seen like characters that we thought were insignificant be really important in this webtoon before.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't trust anyone. Like, I've seen characters that don't seem important and being like really important to the story. So
Mhm.
you know, we'll see. But
I don't know, because okay, wait. I thought we'd gotten to a point where we could talk about future episodes because we just like assumed that like everyone listening to these
Yeah, I
podcasts.
forgot. I am like 99% sure. I never asked. I think I was going to ask on Instagram. I never asked that. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
But I'm pretty sure we started talking about future
Yeah.
episodes when we were doing old episodes. I don't know. I'm kind of low key kind of disappointed by Lady A here. It's kind of well known by like my friends that I absolutely despise her and she's my least favorite character in Purple Hyacinth, and I think that she deserves to
I hate her too.
at the stake or something, like which she is. And so seeing how she's kind of almost carrying the Soleil investigations like is low-key disappointing. And okay, carrying is kind of strong, but like I was thinking about this recently, and you know Lady A is the one who gives Kim the lead that Lune might be not just two men, and that's really what pushes Kim in this later part of this episode. And it's a really big development, right, that literally came from a crackhead character. And then there's episode 92, and maybe it's an 89. No, I think it's 92 because that's the Kim and Will focused one. In that, they encounter Lady A again, and she gives them another tip, but I think it's the one where like she tells them about the Carmine Camellia, but I don't really remember what it was, but it was like another pretty significant tip.
Right.
And I can't help but feel like a little disappointed that Soleil is being really inspired by Lady A, like, because without her they wouldn't be able to get as far as they have in their investigations. And even though it's kind of irrelevant anyways, because like Kim knows Lune by episode 92 without Lady A or not, Will doesn't, and Will's kind of also irrelevant to like Soleil. He doesn't really do much either. But yeah, it's kind of just, I think it undermines Kim's intelligence when she relies so often on Lady A for Soleil investigations. Like, even though she's already suspecting Lauren, Lady A has been the one giving her like all of these tips and ideas, and why not just let Kim come up with them herself?
Yeah, I mean, I think like any good detective, looks out for information. So I don't think that I think that it's a sign of intelligence when you can remember details and put them all together in like a meaningful direction. So I don't think it undermines your intelligence, but
I think like one time works, but like a second time, really? Because Lune did not have to rely on like crackhead characters for their information. And if we want Soleil to be treated as the same caliber as,
well, they interrogated people for their information.
They interrogated people for their information, but those people were like serious
bad guys. Like, they weren't great people.
Yeah, there's different things.
They weren't great people, but they weren't meant for comedic relief,
And now you're making me wonder, like, what's Lady A's motive? Like, maybe like you're saying like, oh, she's dropping these hints. Like, what's her purpose in doing that? Is she trying to get Lune to be discovered?
I would love to take Purple Hyacinth seriously if Lady A was a serious character.
To be fair, I mean, I get what you mean, but also like, I mean, if we're allowing spoilers, we saw, I mean, she wasn't that much of an important character. But the person that Kieran killed in the first episode ended up being like kind of, and I mean, not like an important character, but at the same time, kind of an important character. Like, I mean,
Right.
Lady A is slightly different, I feel like, because she's, you know, she's been there for comedic relief the whole time. But at this point, I don't even know like who I can trust to not be important.
The leader. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I do expect her to play a significant role at this point, which I didn't. I also thought it was just comedic. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you know, because like one time it works, it's fine, right? You know, it was comedic, and then, you know, one thing led to another, and it's like, oh wow, that was a really strange but convenient coincidence. But then, you know, it happens a second time. Like Lady A at that point might just be a part of Soleil, because Soleil gets so little investigation time that, you know, Lady A is there for most of it too. So, and she contributes more to Soleil than Will does. So
You should dub Will just join up with Lady A. The butler.
Lady A should join in with Kim.
Okay, and crack stuff. Anyway, so Kim says, we're the only ones who know about this lead. The investigative unit is looking for a group of 2 or more men. And Will's like, you also brought the pipe with you? She totally ignores him. Items like these don't fit, so the coats were disregarded 3 weeks ago. But it's much more suspicious now that most people have picked up their things, which is true. And he says, why would the coat be linked to Lune? Why leave it behind? Just think about it. Anslow was in the bar for a while before he woke up in the storage room. Lune needed to trick him or at least knock him out. And then we have the cutest little figures, Lune being all cute little cartoon villains, to drag him out there without anyone noticing. They were on a deadline. They couldn't just wait for him to go to the bathroom alone. Police might have shown up before they finished. There's cute little Harry Anslow, looking the cutest he's ever been in his life. And then there's like, whack. And so he's like, oh, so you think Lune was undercover in the bar? Very smart. And we just found this abandoned coat. We know Lune is 2 people. Based on what Miss Arthington said, one is still likely a man. The IU would have taken anything he left behind, leaving only the lady's coat behind. It's like, oh, that's actually a solid theory. But we don't have enough evidence to support it. And she's like, yeah, we don't. We should look into it, though. And why did you leave the coat behind? And then she says, and she sighs. Let's just say that I really want to find Lune before Herman does. Boom, boom.
I wonder, I'm like hesitant to say both, because I'm like, does Kim know that Lauren is Lune because of this reaction? She wouldn't be this strong about it if it wasn't someone that she knew, but also, how would she know?
I think that she was suspicious of Lauren's behavior at the precinct. Like, she's finally leaking it because she's like, wait, Lauren's late, Lauren's tired, Lauren has bags under her eyes, Lauren disappears. So I think that she's suddenly like, oh shizzle, it might be Lauren.
She definitely suspected, like, seriously since episode 46, because I'm pretty sure she has a flashback to, as Mindy was saying, to these moments where Lauren was like that. And then she says, like, well, whoever Lune is, let's hope that they're smart enough not to get caught. Something like that, along the lines of that.
Yeah. Yep. And that's her conflict. It's great. I love to see the buildup, of all those moments where she's showing her concern for Lune and her, like, the conflict that she's going to be in. So now we transition. The last couple of panels are very, very exciting panels. If they're not exciting to like a random person, but they're exciting to us readers because we know like the significance of this. We go to Kieran's apartment and we have his beautiful kitchen, it's nice and clean, and we have him opening the door to the room. That's all he's doing. He has a key, he clicks, pushes the door open. We don't see anything else. We just see him walking in. And we know that that's the door that was locked when Lauren went in there. So we're like, what's behind the door?
Literally that entire, the wait for episode 54 was one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my entire life, because I didn't fast pass at that point, so I couldn't immediately read the episode afterwards. However, I think from the webtoon anniversary, we had gone like, what are they called, like free coins,
Yeah.
right? So a bunch of people were like fast passing it, right, who didn't normally fast pass, and I just had to like sit there and watch them like scream over it, like without like any context, and it was horrible. Do not recommend.
Yeah, that torture is now spared of whoever's reading it now, because you can just go right to the next episode.
They're so lucky.
Yeah, I have to say, just one overall comment, that going back to the Purple Hyacinth story after not reading it for a while and like reading other webtoons, the lighting in Purple Hyacinth is so amazing, and I just love it. I'm so impressed. The artwork is so beautiful.
I actually haven't read any webtoons for a while. It might have been like 6 months now. The only webtoons I read are Purple Hyacinth, and Purple Hyacinth is on hiatus. So all the
I
other
have a whole
webtoons kind of
list. If
excellently.
you need a list of webtoons, I've been kind of not reading as many recently, but I do have a few that I keep up with.
I need to catch up on Shiloh. But yeah. So
anyway, do we have any last thoughts on this episode?
Again, I mean, I was saying this earlier. I really thought that like how do I say this? I thought that Soleil would have more to do this season, because something that the beginning of season 2 does is it really establishes a lot of expectations for the coming season, right? We see in episode 50, right, in the premiere, how Lauren's been faring what she thinks of seeing Kieran in there, right? And that was like something that a lot of people were really anticipating. And so her calling off Lune was very much setting up a really big conflict for the season. And then there's episode 51, which sets up the circus, and so now we think, oh, there's going to be circus arc, right? And we see the circus tickets, so we know to expect the circus from the season. And then we have episode 52, which really sets up the whole like Lune needing to find the bodies, right, to fake their deaths with. And then we have then we have this episode, which has Soleil, right, and introduces Soleil. And then episode 54, that is Kieran drawing in his humanity thing. And those were all the episodes that were released when season 2 premiered, and you could read them if you were fast pass. So it's really, those episodes really set up the expectations, and they're the episodes before the real plot of season 2 starts with the Carmen Camellia arc. And so, yeah, I was like, Soleil was going strong up until like the mid 60s, and then it kind of had to take a backseat for other stuff, which I found kind of disappointing, because Kim figures out Lauren's identity, right? She figures out Lauren's identity in ways that aren't really related to Soleil. Like, she already knew, of course, right? But I thought it was going to be more of a way for Will to find out. But when she tells Will in episode 92, it's like it never, like, the thought never really crossed his mind. And what's more is that we don't really see his reaction to it. We see his like expression, but we don't really see what he thinks about it. And then we get 93 and we're sent to the factory arc in 94. And so yeah, I was a bit sad about that, because I completely lost my train of thought. I
mean, I agree. I wish that Soleil had a bigger like part in this season, and I get that it was like the vast majority of the end of the season was leading up to the factory arc, but like I'm like, oh, the circus arc and everything. But I'm just hoping that next season they get, more time, because their dynamic is so interesting and they work so well together, and I want to see, how they work more. And I also just miss them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And hope that, I hope that in the future they'll get like a much bigger spotlight. And I get that they're not the main characters of the webtoon, but they are still very, very important characters. And I hope that they get, their time as well.
Yeah. Because like, okay, Factory Arc was good, but they did Kim dirty. And
Ugh, I know.
Will they did Will so dirty in the Factory Arc because he did not really do anything. And then Kim arresting Lauren kind of out of nowhere. Sorry. I know, like, because I haven't done anything like Purple Hyacinth, like any Purple Hyacinth podcast, I've had a lot of time to think about this. Mindy, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of beyond the purview of this episode, so I do think we should end it here. But we can always have our own discussion.
I do have one last thing.
You'll be on the
next 2 podcasts, but yeah, I do have one thing. Because Kim is investigating Lune, right, with Will as Soleil. Do you think they mainly focus on Lauren, right, on the lady? And I guess it makes sense, right, because that's really the relevant or the realization is that, oh hey, Lune might not be just 2 guys. But the thing is, like, if Kim already knows that Lauren is Lune, like, do you think she would do more investigating into who like Lauren's partner is? Because it's kind of obvious.
I think it's obvious to us, but I don't know if it's obvious
post 60 it's very obvious, because like if Lauren's the police officer in Lune, right, the other person has to be Phantom Scythe, because Lauren probably isn't Phantom Scythe, right? So when was the last time that Lauren really encountered a Phantom Scythe person?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you'd make a good detective. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. I wonder if they'll start thinking like that.
So yeah,
that
would have been interesting to see, like Kim trying to figure out who, because she already knew, right? She already knew who one person, or highly suspected one person of Lune. Mm-hmm. So her investigating the other person and kind of parading it off as, the person who she already knew, because she didn't want to reveal it to Will. Mm-hmm. I think would have been really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we shall see. Well, thank you so much for joining, Fwoot and Emma. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I had so much fun. I'm very glad that we got to do this again, because it's been forever.
It has been forever.
Yeah, well, we have plenty more, so I'll see you again shortly.
You too, Mindy. Have a good night. You too, Emma.
Have a good night, guys. Good night.
Thank you so much to my current patrons: Susie, Lady Libris, Lily, Jenny, Haley, Maria, Molly, Veronica, Emily, Joe, Rochelle, Saucy Tuggles, Meg, Ann Rose, Priya, Alexa, Misty, Laura, Joanne, Patty, Jen, Emilda, Esther, I'm Watching You, Taurus, Poppy Seed, Marie, Jen, Emily, Jean, Jen, Erin, D, Kate, Lily, Beckett, and Duranda. Your support is truly appreciated.